Hi guys, thanks for coming. Welcome new faces, we'll call you out later. My name is Diana Pastrana, I'm the lead organizer here. I'm also with M&M Office Interiors. Mostly for announcements today. If you guys know anybody who would be interested in signing up for Pitch and Replay as part of the Badger Startup Summit, if you have an early stage idea that you want to pitch, we are looking for more people. So if you know somebody who's like got an idea and is playing with it but like isn't ready to like vocalize it publicly, let's change that. Let's get them out there pitching to a group of peers and mentors. So please direct them my way and I will get them signed up for that. That's August 22nd. I still have a couple sponsorship options, so if you guys want to sponsor, hit me up. You've heard it before. Other announcements?
We will not be meeting here on August 2nd.
Yes, so the day of Pitch and Replay, we are not going to have a meeting here. We are going to attend the Badger Startup Summit, everybody. It's part of a Ford Fest Pass. You get a Ford Fest Pass. Otherwise, I think it's like $50 to $100 for a ticket for the day. But it's a full day of planning. And also on that topic, we need presenters here as well. So if you guys know people who are interested in presenting near or far, help us out and send them our way. We don't have an official recruitment position, so if you guys can help send us new business, then new businesses, then we can work on that.
Yep. And everything from like fairly early idea stage through well-established things are
like 5 years. Yeah. Idea to 5 years is what we're shooting for. So with that, I think that's it.
That's it?
Okay, we're gonna keep it short and sweet today. No jokes. Again, I'm Diana with M&M Office Interiors in Middleton.
I'm Josh Helling. I'm a technology entrepreneur. My background's in software product development and I work with small and growing companies on technology strategy.
Oh, Cedric?
Yeah.
When James came in with calls on call.
Trezzy, software engineering consultant.
Steve Platt, co-founder of 32 Auctions, a platform for hosting and managing silent auction fundraisers. Just to let you guys know, I just want to do a plug for Game by the Local and Badger Barter are both running a fundraiser for Sun Prairie right now, and the silent auction ends tomorrow night. If you're looking to join it, it's 32auctions.com, Sun Prairie Strong 2018.
I'm DP Knoten, collaborator creative. You guys know what I do, because everybody's been here before, but Chantel is new, so I'm going to show her how long you can go with your introduction.
Yeah, go for it. Just
By
drag it
saying,
out.
hi, my name's DP Knoten. My company name is Collaborator Creative because I collaborate creatively with a wide variety of companies and individuals on everything from custom writing to full-blown nonfiction branding.
Thank you.
Follow that up.
I'm Chantel Sumis, and I started Stardust Creative in March of this year, and that focuses mostly on branding, personal branding and corporate branding and social media strategy.
Yeah, my name is John Hayden. I'm an associate with the law firm Weston Dunn in Waunakee. The partners of our firm started about 2.5 years ago, and so we're growing in the Waunakee area.
Perfect. I'm Mike Booth, technology consultant with Enterprise Systems Group. We handle enterprise-grade audio, video, voice-over IP solutions, things like that.
I'm Shonda Miller-Feenan, and I run Starting Block Madison, so happy to have you guys here at A Million Cups and Dream Bakes. Happy to have A Million Cups here at Starting Block and Dream Bake. Got the coffee, didn't get the coffee.
I'm Jim Staysall. I teach at the business school.
Oh, that's me. Yeah, I'm Derek Devler. I'm with Town News, Field 59, and we're an online video platform for media companies.
And with that, we'll turn it over to Stratafolio. So, Jerry, take it away.
My name is Jerry Frank, and this is Uriel Brillis, and we are the founders of Stratafolio. And thank you for having us here today. This is pretty much the best place we've been at so far as we've been doing our 1 Million Cups presentations. Great technology, great space, just really enjoy the vibe here, so thanks for having us. We're going to begin with an imagery exercise. And for a moment, I want you to consider that you are an airplane pilot, and you're surrounded by this very comprehensive instrumentation panel. It's real time, it's visual, it's precise, and it alerts you when something is going wrong. And you will fly safely from location A to B, whether it's day, night, or even stormy weather conditions. And I'm pretty sure most of us would not feel comfortable flying if our pilot didn't have that kind of instrumentation yet. Now, let's consider another scenario. And this time, you own and lease commercial real estate. But your tools are far less precise. In fact, you can use multiple systems to do your job. And because you have to use multiple systems, you're forced to rely on spreadsheets. And we all know the problems with spreadsheets, right? It usually results in this kind of thing. And the thing is this is a very common problem because the tools that owners use are not designed for asset management. And this results in their growth of their company being hindered. It's just a struggle to continue to scale, and each additional purchase creates more hassles, more inefficiencies, because they're really living in a different decade. And 78% of commercial real estate organizations operate this way. They just have systems that own property, that they manage their property in, that they manage their accounting in, and they're forced to operate inside those systems. Our solution is this. This is Stratafolio. And this organization owns 4 different LLCs. Fletcher Real Estate, Jones LLC, Lionfish, R&E. And what you see across the top are 4 or 6 KPIs that our customers have told us are very important for them to manage their business. And they see those year over year and year to date. And below here in this chart, they can see how each individual entity contributes to the whole for that particular month. They can also isolate a certain asset class just to see how that's performing. And they can look to see what their vacancy or occupancy is for any single LLC. They can adjust to see how things are working over different periods of time. And they can look at it over multiple years. And below here is a cash flow statement that supports every single month or the period that's being displayed. So that's Stratafolio. And we have beta users that we've been working with over the last 6 or 8 months that helped us define what goes into this product and how that information needs to be displayed so that they can solve their problems. And it all comes down to, we want our owners, our commercial real estate owners, our customers to make more money. And they do that by being more efficient, identifying places where they have overruns in their costs or things are not operating as they expect them to. And a system like this allows them to build trust for those individuals that are a part of their system, whether it's their lender or their investors. Or it could be the owner just really wanting to understand how things are really operating. There's a great deal of distrust for them if they can't quickly put their finger on how am I doing on this property. And with each one of our reports, they have the ability to print these out as PDFs so they can distribute them to their investors or to their owners. Our customers are people who own real estate that have assets between $10 and $400 million in assets. They have multiple asset classes, so it's multifamily, it's retail, it's office, warehouse, industrial. All of our beta users have lenders that they work with, and most of them have investors. Our target market, so there's 405,000 organizations in the United States that fit in this, that own and lease real estate. Our segment is about 147,000, and we are specifically targeting 5,000 of these customers. and we're expecting to average 2 licenses per organization. We're a SaaS-based model. We also will do consulting. We will add additional modules as time goes on. We continue to listen to our customers and figure out what it is they need. So we have a long backlog of things that need to go into the system, and many of these things will become additional add-on modules that can support each of these organizations. And then we will have a setup fee as well for each one of these organizations based on the complexity and the size of their assets. We will reach our customers through a few different methods. One is we want to establish relationships with investors and banks and complementary software systems so that we can help with that growth virality. It's really important for us to gain industry confidence. So we'll do that by identifying different speaking engagements. We will do case studies, and we will continue with content creation. It's really important for us to be that go-to organization in terms of content and supporting our customer base. We will do some targeted advertising, and we will also identify some conferences and attend those conferences over time. We have a few that we've kind of picked out as potentials, and we've started targeting other markets and other conferences using geofencing to figure out exactly which conferences make the most sense for us. And it's kind of an easy, inexpensive way to figure out what kind of engagement we're getting before we actually spend the big dollars to go to these conferences. We do have competitors in our space. But the thing that's important to understand is our competitors are not directly in our space. Our competitors are focused on large cities or a single asset class. So we have an entire market area that is ours that we're carving out. This is us. We both have considerable years of experience in corporate America. I spent almost 15 years at Pearson, and Uriel spent about 12 years at Rockwell Collins as a senior software and systems engineer, and had experience in the technical area before that. And we are supported by a strong set of advisors that have been in the end zone in many different aspects of the different areas that they're helping us in. So obviously we need some commercial real estate expertise, which we have. User design is incredibly important to us. Our users are very fast-paced, and there are tools out there that at the high end that customers continually complain about being too complex, that they never figure out how to actually use the system, so they quit. And our philosophy is, if you need a manual to use our system, then we're not doing our job right. So user design is important to us. Marketing, obviously, if we don't have brand awareness, if we don't have the content, if we don't have our way to get out and reach those customers, we don't exist. And analytics will be a huge important part of our process as we go forward. So this is our tagline. We are leveling the playing field for that mid-sized commercial real estate owner. These people can't get access to the tools at an affordable price. There are enterprise systems out there that they can't afford, but yet they're struggling to grow. So we are after these people. And our ask is, we want more beta users. And being a beta user is a pretty sweet gig. Essentially, you have some say in how we develop the product. And as a result of coming in, there's no obligation to stay on, but you get a say, you get a discount once you become a beta user, once we go live, and you get to talk, you get to work with us on a schedule that works for you. Questions?
How do you define mid-size?
That's a great question. It's probably somewhere between, I don't know, 150 and 400 million. It's not technical. I'm not sure I can actually put an exact number around it.
Yeah, because what I'm looking for in your presentation is, can you show me literally show me, here's the size of a building, here's the size of a building. We serve this market, not this market.
Right. That's a good point.
Because one of the things I like about your product is it's very visual. So you've got your kind of C-level dashboard,
Yep.
but you've also got your accountant level drill down, right?
Right.
So it's that nice combination of both. Two different potential buyer influencers.
Correct.
It'd be great to serve up enough visuals to make the numbers gal go, ooh, love it,
Yes.
and the dashboard guy go, gotta have it.
I like that.
Market.
So on your diagram, it showed the total available market, your segmented market, and then your actual target. What distinguishes the second two? Like, what are the characteristics that put somebody in that the bullseye part of that slide?
Yeah, let me go back there.
Yeah.
So there are about, and this is very hard data to get at, but extrapolating out, we believe there are 147,000 that fit in this 10 to 400,
Okay.
400 million. Based on different reports that we've looked at from IBIS and census and connecting data, unfortunately, it's not as, some industries have like this very specific information you can go to. This is not one of them. So our extrapolation is, it is about this size.
So then, but I guess I'm curious about the difference between the gray and the white. Like, what is it about the 5,000 that's causing you to target that?
It really is. It's a number that it's actually aligned to our income projections for the next 5 years. That we're chunking off these 5,000 to get us to about $35 million in revenue.
Okay. Okay. So they're just the 5,000 out of the 147 that you think you can grasp out.
Right.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Yes.
So it sounds like you're trying to target kind of Midwest first. Is that accurate? Not large coastal city type stuff?
We are targeting secondary markets.
Okay.
We are based out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. So it is nice for us to work fairly close by because that allows us to travel to different locations that are close by and establish a rapport, sit down, see their workspace, see what's happening, how they're accessing their information, where they're struggling. And it's a lot easier to do that when you're sitting in front of them and can see that. It doesn't mean that we actually have a couple of beta users that are not within Iowa. One's in Alaska, one's in Mankato, Minnesota. But we are kind of growing out from Cedar Rapids, but we are focused on secondary markets.
So to follow that up, and I'm speaking from my own personal experience, I want to know if yours you've seen similarly. In my mind, I'm picturing your client as being quite frugal and very antiquated. So how do you get them to make the mental shift to invest in it? Because I mean, I assume it's a pretty serious investment to develop this, so there's got to be a nice price tag that goes with that. Are you getting pushback on adaptation for something like this, just based on the fact, like, again, I'm picturing somebody who's like not very technically savvy running these, tearing out his own carpet, but maybe I'm thinking too small.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
maybe there's a break point where people recognize the value.
Yeah. What we've learned is you really do have to get to a certain threshold. It's probably somewhere between 10 and 20 million where it doesn't make any sense for you to buy a product like this. And you haven't felt the pain enough. But once you get to 100, 150 million, the manual activity of updating spreadsheets and connecting this system, downloading information from this system, and downloading information from this system, and connecting them and continually updating them. And then if your investor who is down the street from you walks up and wants an answer on how's this property performing, and you have to run back to the office and have your staff do it, communicate it, they answer that one question, you communicate it back to the investor, and then the investor has another tweak on that. And it's just this endless circle and cycle of having to repeatedly go through the process of pulling information together, calculating it, pushing, and then sharing that information again. So it's when your pain has hit that threshold, you want to react.
Okay. That makes sense.
So the typical person that, like from a residential standpoint, probably if you're owning residential real estate, and you're running that business and pulling out the carpet, this probably isn't the product for you. It is really someone who is actively engaged in growing their real estate company.
Like literally everyone raised their hand.
So your story there with the feeling the pain, it brings to mind that I would see the customers coming to you because they're feeling this pain and they need it. But is that your experience, or are you still like trying to sell them on it and having to show them?
Well, we don't have enough brand awareness that people know us at this point. We do put out blogs and that kind of thing. We do get some contact from that. But it is an interesting thing that our users, our customers, they're out finding the deal. They're not looking for their software. So it is part of us figuring out how to get in their line of vision so that they do find us. So right now what it is we find out about them. We get an introduction from somebody else, or we work our way in and have a conversation about their pain and the struggles that they have, show them the demo, and then there's like smiles and
Sure.
They're happy because it is something that solves their problem.
But if they have that pain and they have some sort of need, what are they doing today? Is there another competitor they're running into? I mean, they're searching probably for a solution.
They're having their staff do this. So they're just going to their accountant or their property manager and they're saying, hey, can you quick update this? Can you quick update this? And these people they're overworked, they're overwrought. There is high turnover in some of these positions because they're just, every property that they add on, that their boss adds on, it's more manual work that they have to do. So their boss is just throwing it over to get these questions answered.
So you're saying the staff that are the ones that are feeling the pain more than the boss. The boss is just throwing it at them.
But the boss's pain is the salary they pay.
The boss's pain is the salary, but it's also those investors that are following them around asking questions, or their lender, the next time they need a loan, and they have to go update all of this information, which takes a while, which then reduces credibility with the lender unless they have this long-term relationship.
That's why it's a two-audience sell. You've got the boss wants the dashboard, so he can pull it up real time with investor, answer a question. Bank officer says what, you point to the figure and they go, okay, got it. The people who have to process the data love it because it's like, oh my God, this is data entry simplicity, right?
Exactly. And those are the exact two personas that we're after.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a little bit of two horses.
Right.
So on that end, I think that you could strengthen your selling point, but if you could quantify to the amount of either time or money that is wasted, because if it's the pain point from the boss, but it's being felt by the employee, it may be invisible. So if you can show that and then compare that to what your pricing model is, that's a really effective selling point. To be able to say that you'll actually save money.
They're almost like enterprise selling, right? Like where you have the users who are feeling it, but the boss is only getting the secondary effects. That's what enterprise like B2B sales is essentially. I don't know a lot about that, but I think like there's a lot of resources out there on how to do that.
Yeah, if you can say that you can recapture 8 hours a week from every employee, you do the math, well, boy, this pays for itself.
Exactly. With an average of the salary, and then it's also your lost revenue from error. Human error is a huge issue. I mean, like if I could quantify this for my boss, he might buy software for us. But like, so I think that would really that would strengthen your pitch.
So is there a bigger return on higher rents or something like that to justify looking at the data easier?
Potentially. I mean, it's when you're seeing that data in comparison to one another, and it will add on additional features over time, so that you can see some differences between all of your different properties that you own. So there might be some things that you start to identify as outliers, or places where, wow, this is working really well. How do we recreate this situation?
Well, and it also helps you allocate marketing dollars. You see a property or something that's failing over here, more or less in real time, you can say, and this part, which we've been spending money on for marketing, let's shift those dollars over here to bolster that. So it's a strategic dashboard with tactical applications down here. I have a question about your metric. You've identified a dollar metric for the companies that you serve, that's the 10 to 400 million, whatever. Have you come up with a number of units, similar metric, like to really get the value out of this, you should have 150 leasable, rentable units, or to this envelope?
Yes, we have not yet. Actually, that's a great idea. I like that idea a lot.
Well, because it would help me if I were a landowner, which I'm not, so don't talk to me. Don't listen to me. But if I were a landlord, I'd be able to say, oh, okay, you are optimized for my sector, not for, you know, some global leasing company. Because I don't need that superpower. I need this mid-size, powerful engine that serves me and understands my pain, and the fact that you're local and I can talk to you physically, because I'm old school enough, that would be very appealing.
Well, and to that point, you know, you think about a warehouse that, you know, that could be it's one door, one unit, has huge value on it, and your lease goes on forever. But if you have 2 or 3 of those, it's not real. The asset value is higher, but the complexity and effort that it takes for you as an owner is not as high as if you have a retail space or a multifamily and
an apartment building with 85 units and another one with 200 units and another one with 40. And holy crap, I got to deal with enterprise size stuff and kind of.
I like that. Yes.
So the dashboard is super cool. Like visually, I totally get the appeal. Very well done. And I can totally understand how it would be much more powerful than spreadsheets. The flip side of spreadsheets is that they're also sort of the operational information system. They're where I do the data entry. What's the analog? Like if I'm an owner, I adopt this, okay, my views are a lot cooler. Am I now doing like manual data transfer from my finance system to here? Or are you integrating? Do you have like a spreadsheet view that just replaces my spreadsheets? Like talk about the back end side of it.
Yes. And what that onboarding process is.
Okay. I'll start off by saying, in a perfect world, there would be API connections to everything. We are a startup, and it's death by 1,000 cuts to connect to every single system. What we're doing is we're downloading CSV files. We're doing it in an automated fashion, so it's essentially, Muriel can talk about this a lot better than I can, but essentially you're dropping stuff into a spot on your desktop and it's updating. So we don't want another data source for them to manually update. They wouldn't do it.
We just, to jump in a little bit, what we do is we pull in the data from their financial and property management systems, and then we upload it to Stratafolio. So that way we have standardized chart of accounts, so they can map their chart of accounts to our chart of accounts, and they can have multiple systems, multiple accounts mapped in here, and then they'll be able to slice and dice the data easily. And this is all run pretty much automated. And like Jerry said, we're doing this because if we connect to every API out there, it would be dead by 1,000 cuts. Some of these APIs are free, but the development is not.
So just to make sure I'm following right, if I adopt, I've got a one-time field mapping from my systems into yours, and then beyond that, this is all like read-only basically. So there's no operational impact. I still do everything the way I used to do it. I just get a better view. Okay.
And then from an onboarding perspective, that is part of that activity is mapping their assets. And I didn't show you this, but we have essentially a hierarchy associated. You start with your organization, define some information there. Then for every entity that's associated with that organization, there's information that we work to input around that, including your investors and your EIN number, stuff that they're constantly 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, going to dig out of a file or whatever. So we're giving it a home. And then then we're associating any of their assets with those entities as well. So it's how they think about their organization, we're representing that in software and making it easy for for them to toggle between each of their different entities. We're actually starting to onboard our customers in the next couple of weeks. We're sitting down in their offices, in their space, and going in with a list of, all right, have all of this information available. We're going to sit down with them. Some of them are the owners because they want to do this. They want to understand where things are at and have that comfort level of feeling in control, essentially.
And bottom line is just provide a place where they can have everything they need to efficiently and quickly run their business at hand reach to save them time and money and make them money in the process.
Are you talking to financial institutions to get them to say, hey, we would love you guys to do this?
Yes, we are.
Because I would see that as being very appealing to them.
Yes, actually the conversations with the lending institutions has been incredibly positive. We've actually had bankers tell us if their customers came in this organized and they could easily see that kind of information, they would give them a 0.25% rate on their loan. So
can you get a quote like that for your presentation? Because that is money in the bank.
yes, yeah.
Well, I wonder if there'd be a future opportunity to give the lender their own limited view, like directly like on demand, right?
You are
Real
right.
time, or you're there. Okay, cool.
So to follow that, data is power, right? And that's the value. So this is a great way to show their own assets in comparison to one another. Can you get to the point where you are showing how their portfolio is performing versus their competitors or versus the market?
Yeah, that is ultimately the point, right? Because data is the new oil, everybody's saying it. And so once we have a large enough threshold, then we can start providing those benchmark numbers out to our customer base so that they know how they are comparing within their own portfolio, within their city, within a particular area. Yeah, and so we didn't talk much about this, but we are focused on descriptive analytics because our customers are struggling with that. But this is an open market and an open place for predictive analytics. And there's a lot of work to be done around that. But we have an MBA intern from the University of Iowa that we've started working with, starting to lay out the foundations and thought process around what data sources do we need in addition to their own data to start looking at that.
Are there any type of red flagging functions, like if you think some data might not be good, like boom, boom, flashing lights saying, take a look at this, because this might be bad entry, or?
We like that idea. And another thing we didn't show you is we have a loan dashboard. So having that kind of alerting functionality is important to us. Being able to establish some thresholds around, maybe it's vacancy that you want to know as the owner. If you have a vacancy that goes to, or occupancy, if they fall below 95%.
Stop loss, put a stop loss in there.
Or they have a huge one for one of our customers is just knowing, because they have 200 plus loans out there, knowing when their next loan is expiring so that they can plan in advance. Because it's an activity that takes some time because they go out to their book of lenders that they work with, trying to find that best rate or the best relationship for them for that time. So having some forewarning that in 6 months, these are the loans that are expiring. In a year, these are what are expiring. And having them to be able to quickly identify which loans are expiring and across their portfolio, how much of their portfolio is allocated to this lender and this lender and this lender, because they don't want too much exposure at a single lender.
Well, one of the most valuable pieces of data from any dashboard is that gas light that comes on when you've got 25 miles left to go.
Right.
Well, and I can imagine, again, as a property owner, you hear that bank of fill in the blank is having problems with blah, blah, blah. First thing I want to do is open up and see how much exposure I have with this phone bank.
Right. Right. And you can do all kinds of cool things with that, like there was a news article about that, and being able to feed that news back to that owner. That's how we set that on this path right now. But there's all kinds of interesting things you can do based on this kind of data and having it available to you.
All right, that is time. That is 9 o'clock. Thank you guys very much for hanging